fuck up, it's episode 300. Don't fuck yourself, it's episode 300. Don't fuck up and don't fuck yourself, it's episode 300. I've done this 300 times and I want to jump off of a building. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Rude Cooking School podcast. I'm your host for episode 300, John Hauser the third 100. And with me in his 300th role as, he's been on like 800 podcasts or something like that, but eating a bag of Old Bay potato chips is
Evan Mayer. This is podcast.
Oh, God damn it. A movie that fucking white nationalists love. 300. Yeah, we've done it. We made it. It's 300. I don't know where to begin. I don't know where to end. I do know where to end. It's going to end at this, and I'm never coming back.
Oh.
No, I'm just going to take a month break. But yeah, thank you for listening for 300 episodes. I hope I can do 300 more after recharging in a month. And let's fucking get this thing started. Evan.
Yeah?
You don't know what we're going to be talking about.
It's a Chefisode, though, right?
It is a Chefisode.
Well,
it's a big one. I'll give you, let's go back to the old format. I'll give you 3 chances to figure out who this chef is.
Guy Fieri.
We've already done him.
Okay. I'm not I
know.
Entirely aware of your whole catalog of 300 episodes.
You're a terrible fucking co-host. You should know them all by heart.
Well, I've only been on longer than all of your other co-hosts at this point.
No, have you?
I don't know. Probably. I think Rebecca was probably on the list.
Rebecca.
Rabagra?
Whatever her name was.
Chef. The Yan Can Cook guy.
He's coming up. I got him in my sights. He's hard to research.
Oh, okay.
Also funded by China, I think.
I thought he came to America to get away from China.
But all of his PBS stuff is like, come to China. Welcome to China. And he's just in China the whole time. And there's like clearly like friends of the government walking around with him. It's really weird.
Some minders. Yeah. Let's see. My third guest is Ray Fiennes.
He's a fake chef. That was just in that movie you watched with the hamburger.
I thought that was a documentary.
Nope.
We both watched it, by the way.
Yeah. We talked about it. We did an episode on it.
A movie episode.
Yeah, it was a fun one.
The only movie episode.
Is that the only movie episode you've been on? Is that the only? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, because I did a couple with Jenny.
What other movies did you do?
Ratatouille.
Uh-huh.
We did one where there was like it was like zombie sushi, where the sushi was actually eating people and shit.
Yeah. That's not much of a food movie, though.
Well, adjacent. But it takes place in a sushi restaurant.
It does.
We are going to cover the modern day enfant terrible, one of the most successful chefs in the world.
Mm.
You know him, you love him, Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I would have thought you would have done that like first. No,
because I kind of don't like Gordon Ramsay. I do. I'm kind of ambivalent. I don't watch any of his current shows. I don't mind watching like Restaurant Rescue or whatever show that is.
Kitchen Nightmares.
I don't mind that because he's nice. The kids shows are really cute, but I don't like watching kids cooking competitions.
I hate those fucking shows because those kids can fucking cook so good.
Yeah. I just don't like it because I don't think they should have children competing that way. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It seems like child abuse to me, but he's really nice to the children. He's very encouraging. He's very nice.
You call this a fried egg, you little shit?
Yeah, you fucking donkey. But his whole shtick is kind of like, I knew where he got it, which was Marco Pierre White, which we've done an episode on. because that's the way he learned, right? Like he came up in the old school and everybody was shitty. And like my first job in a restaurant was like that. And it's just very abusive and it's very shitty. And he's made a living off of being a piece of shit, basically, right? Like, but he's an unbelievably successful and determined chef who anyone who has stuck with him has nothing but good things to say. And one of the things, he's a really big, like, motivational guy. Like, he's very much about, like, you need to build people up, you know, and encourage them. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like what.
Yeah, I think he's crossed the Rubicon from just being a chef to being, like, multi-marketing, you know, dynamo.
But ultimately what a chef does is a person that, for one, educates, two, encourages. Like, it's just, what are your methods of instruction and encouragement? His was yelling and berating, right?
Like putting pieces of bread against your ears and saying, "What are you?" Yeah,
that'll come up. But he's an interesting guy. Let's get into it. He's interesting. You know,
okay.
I will say this, after the fucking months, the month and a half of me researching this shitbag, I actually like him a little more. Like, I get what he's kind of going for. And I know at this point it's all like bullshit garbage. Are you just drinking out of a fucking carton of a gallon of milk?
It's water.
Oh, Jesus. You just have a gallon. You are living the single life. You just got
I'm trying to stay hydrated, John.
With a whole gallon jug of water?
Yeah, that's how I know I've had a gallon of water.
Oh my God. Okay, we're just going to ignore that. Everybody ignore what Evan just did.
Look, I'm avoiding wrinkles, okay?
Yeah, good job. Okay. Gordon James Ramsay was born on November 8th, 1966. He's a British celebrity chef, restaurateur, television presenter, and writer. His restaurant group, Gordon Ramsay Restaurants, was founded in 1997, and he has been awarded 17 Michelin stars overall. He currently holds a total of 7. His signature restaurant Gordon Ramsay in Chelsea, London, has held 3 Michelin stars since 2001. That's his fucking flagship place.
His baby.
Yeah, that's the big one. After rising to fame on the British television miniseries Boiling Point in 1999, Ramsay became one of the best known and influential chefs in the world. We'll get back to Boiling Point. I haven't watched it all, but I've watched an episode. I watched the first one. It's something else. Ramsay's television appearances are defined by his bluntness, fiery temper, strict demeanor, and frequent use of profanity while making blunt, critical, and controversial comments, including insults and sardonic wisecracks about contestants and their cooking abilities. He combines activities in the television, film, hospitality, and food industries, and has promoted and hired various chefs who have apprenticed under his wing. He is known for presenting television programs about competitive cookery and foods such as the British series Hell's Kitchen, Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares, The F Word, Kitchen Nightmares, winning the 2005 British Academy Television Awards for Best Feature.
Don't forget Hotel Hell.
And the American versions of Hell's Kitchen, Kitchen Nightmares, Master Chef, and Master Chef Jr., as well as Hotel Hell, Gordon Behind Bars, Gordon Ramsay 24 Hours in Hell, and Back, and Next Level Chef. They left out Gordon Ramsay on cocaine, by the way. Which is a real show.
A bunch of cocaine makes food.
It's a show about him researching where cocaine comes from and how big of a deal it is. Like, it's insane. Like, they swab the back of his fucking toilets and find that it's just covered in cocaine. He mentions that more than once people have asked to get a special souffle where they dust it at the end with cocaine instead of powdered sugar. More than once.
Yeah, nuts. But that's extra charge.
Yeah, well, they would provide the cocaine, I suppose. But it's crazy. It's just like a weird deep dive into like how the industry sort of kind of, there's a lot of chefs that run on cocaine because it's such an upper, but then he goes to like fucking Mexico or somewhere South America and sees how it's made. Like, I just saw a very quick general overview of it. I was just like, what the fuck is this?
That's fun.
Super weird. He was named the top chef in the UK at the 2000 Katie Awards. And in July 2006, he won the Katie for Independent Restaurateur of the Year, becoming only the third person to have won 3 Katie Awards. In 2020, Forbes listing his earnings at $70 million for the previous 12 months and ranked him at number 19 on his list of the highest earning celebrities, which is fucking crazy for a chef.
Yeah.
Like, that shit that, like, number one is, you know, usually like Paul McCartney,
Oprah,
300 million. Yeah. Like, fucking crazy. He's got a lot of fucking restaurants. Have you ever been to the one in Baltimore? His steakhouse? He's got one here.
In the casino?
Yeah.
No.
Gordon Ramsay steak or something like that.
Is it spelled ST8K?
Wait a minute, what?
I don't know.
Oh, STAK?
ST8K.
Oh, that would be awesome. I'd go there if that was the case. Yeah, it's called Gordon Ramsay Steak. I was looking at this yesterday because I was going through, well, not yesterday, but like a week ago, like I was going through all of his restaurants yesterday, and it's really overwhelming. The gastro, like when you go to restaurants, he's got like Gordon Ramsay Burger, Gordon Ramsay Fish and Chips, Gordon Ramsay Food Hall, Gordon Ramsay Pub and Grill, Gordon Ramsay Steak, Hill's Kitchen, Ramsay's Kitchen. Like, he's got like lots of pubs and gastro pub. It's nuts. And
it all sounds kind of basic though.
A lot of it is because you can get in and out quick. He buys a lot of these new ones. He buys and sells like within 5 years. So like there was like whole chunks of stuff that I had to cut out where he's like, in 2001, he opened this. And in 2003, he opened this. In 2004, he closed this, but opened this and then opened another thing and then partnered with this restaurant group. And then, you know, it's like, it's too much. You know what I mean? Like, he's a conglomerate in and of himself. Let's get into it. Yeah, let's get into it. The one thing that every fucking podcaster says. I got to stop saying that.
So what do we got? What do we got?
Yeah, Gordon James Ramsay was born in the Scottish town of Joneston.
We're going there next week.
Are you really?
No, I'm just going to Scotland. I don't know.
I was like, oh,
don't
shit.
think I'm going to Johnstone.
Johnstone.
Detective at law.
Johnstone or Johnstone?
Johnstone.
Or Johnst one.
Johnstone.
He's the son of Helen Cosgrove and James Gordon James Sr.
Okay.
Who worked as a swimming pool manager, welder, and shopkeeper. He has an older sister, a younger brother, and a younger sister. When he was 9 years old, he moved with his family to England and grew up in the Bishopton area of Stratford upton Avon. For those keeping count, that's Stratford-Upton-Avon. He has described his early life as, quote, hopelessly itinerant, unquote, and said his family moved constantly owing to the aspirations and failures of his father, who was an occasional violent alcoholic. Ramsay described him as a, quote, hard-drinking womanizer, unquote, in his autobiography. He revealed that his father abused and neglected the children. He worked as a pot washer, Gordon Ramsay did, as a pot washer in a local Indian restaurant where his sister was a waitress. He had hoped to become a footballer and was first chosen to play under 14 football at the age of 12, but his early footballing career was marked by injuries. After a serious knee injury, he was forced to give it up. At the age of 16, he moved out of the family home and into an apartment in Banbury. So motherfucker's out of the house at 16.
I love the idea, though, that he, started cooking with like a knee brace on. He was trying to use all his soccer skills to cook.
Yeah. It's like the moment in Forrest Gump, like he's cooking so hard the knee brace pops off and somebody's like, cook, Gordon, cook. You know, like, yeah. I don't know what it'll come up, I think, but what year he stopped playing football. But
2008.
According to him, he was basically in the minor leagues, and that's where his knee blew out on him finally. And then when they asked the minor league people that played with him, they were like, "No, that motherfucker was around for like a week." Like, and he got hurt, and then he just couldn't rehab or whatever. But then there was an episode of something where he went back. We'll get into it, and then everybody was like, "Oh yeah, we remember him." It's really weird. Ramsay's interest in cooking began in his teenage years, rather than be known as the football player with the gammy knee, end quote, he said. He decided to pay more serious attention to his culinary education at 19. So it was around 18 or 19 when he stopped. Ramsay enrolled at North Oxfordshire Technical College. He was sponsored by the Rotarians to study hotel management. Do you know who the Rotarians are?
They're an alien race, yeah.
Yes. No, they're the Rotary Club. So he got sponsored by the Rotary Club to study.
How old do you have to be to join the Rotary Club? Because I want to join like the Moose Lodge or something.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? My whole thing was I wanted to become part of the what's the one everybody thinks runs the world?
Freemasons?
The Freemasons.
So,
but you gotta believe in God, and I can't join.
Not only that, but you have to have a sponsor, and it's a lot of work, and you've got to memorize like a shitload of stuff, and you have to be able to do all of the recitations. There's a lot of tests.
Probably got to kill a sex worker.
No, they're like remarkably chaste.
Pro sex worker? That's cool.
No, I don't think that either. But like, yeah, it is. They're a strange bunch, and they're very, very focused on their dress code.
Yes.
But yeah, there's a lot of like morality stuff, and it's like pseudo religious, but it's religious, and you have to have a member vouch for you to even get in the door.
I really was looking, and this is for real. I was really looking into the local order of the Order of the Golden Dawn.
Okay.
Chapter for the Order of the Golden Dawn, which was started by Aleister Crowley.
Okay.
And there's one in here. There's one in Baltimore, and I was like, you know what? That's weird. I don't need that.
It's a Club Orpheus.
But I want to. Yeah, it's actually weirdly in my old neighborhood in Southwest Baltimore.
No.
Yeah, and I was like, that's a no-go. But like, yeah, I want to be in like a weird old man's club where they just fucking sit around and drink and bullshit, and then and collect money and like toys for children and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say Empower Broke?
Yeah, Power Broke.
Well, yeah, of course.
Control things,
Yeah, just like that Simpsons episode.
But yeah, the Stonecutters. But I would want our
do.
Who holds back the electric car?
We do.
Who makes Steve Gutenberg a star? But no, I would want to be a power broker for something very niche. Like we control the flow of yarn. Yeah,
we control the flow of chiclets to gumball machines.
Yeah. Those 25-cent dome machines.
Well, we all know that's the mob.
We control all of them.
That's for real, the mob.
All those Spanish peanuts that you see in those bank vending machines, that's us.
I want to control the red dye that dyes all those pistachios before they go in in the thing.
But then we'd have to control the bugs that they get the red dye from.
You control the beetles.
Yeah.
You control the spice. He who controls the beetles controls the spice. He controls the spice, controls the world. So he describes his decision to enter catering college as, quote, a complete accident, unquote. In the mid-'80s, he worked as a commis chef at the Roxton House Hotel. Do you know what a commis chef is?
You use a comb to whisk things?
Yes. It's very hard. No, a commis chef is a starter chef. It's basically what happens when you're 18 or 19 and starting out, and you're basically
you sleep on a cot in the janitor closet.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you're kind of a super low level shit bag. Then he ran the kitchen and 60-seat dining room at the Wickham Arms until his sexual relation with the owner's wife made the
Whoa.
situation difficult.
Oopsie.
Wow.
Gordon Ramsay was getting a little frisky.
Yeah, he's ramming something. Ramsay then moved to London, where he worked in a series of restaurants until being inspired to work for Marco Pierre White at Harvey's. And then, as I've always said before, if you really want to see an interesting thing, Marco Pierre White had a very early, like late 80s BBC documentary done on Harvey's and his the way he conducted himself and his madness and perfectionism. And every now and then you see a very, very young Gordon Ramsay in the background. It's really funny. And like, you know, Marco Pierre White's yelling at him. I think at one point for his birthday, they pick him up and throw him in a pond.
He's standing in the background, like picking his nose and
pretty much
flicking a knife.
Yeah. I mean, in Marco Pierre White's book, White Heat, there are pictures of Gordon Ramsay in the background. Like it's really interesting. But this is where I'm sure he didn't pick up it just from Marco Pierre White, but Marco Pierre White is, I think, the reason he is the way he is. After working at Harvey's for 2 years and 10 months, Ramsay, tired of the quote, the rages and the bullying and the violence, unquote, decided that the way to further advance his career was to study French cuisine. So this is the funny thing about Marco Pierre White, and also the funny thing about Ramsay, and also a lot of quote unquote businessmen that I've met. They can completely separate work from real life and treat people like absolute garbage during work. And then as soon as everyone's off the clock, they're all friends in their mind, right? Like because none of it, they don't have, they're sociopaths, right? Like they think that that's how it works. So, you know, Ramsay's like, fuck this shit. I'm out. You're fucking awful. And I don't want to be around you anymore. So then White discouraged Ramsay from taking a job in Paris and instead encouraged him to work for Albert Roux at Les Gavroches in Mayfair. So Ramsay's like, okay, cool. You can get me in there. Let's do it. So like White does him a solid, like, and throughout, this is probably like 1987, right? Something like that. 88. White and him have had their issues, but like the very first person that shows up on that episode of Boiling Point is Marco Pierre White, and they're interviewing, and he's like, Gordon Ramsay is an amazing chef. I'm so proud of him. Like, he's going to be great, and he's not what everyone thinks he is, a loudmouth and a bully, and he doesn't do any of that stuff.
None of those things.
No, we'll get back to, because it literally ends with him being on a secret undercover boss kind of thing, where they get a kid to wear a camera and work for him and record him, and he's just caught on camera just yelling and calling everybody fuckheads and fat. And, yeah. That's how the episode ends. He comes home from his first night in his new restaurant and watches himself on videotape that his wife taped for him. And he's sitting there laughing with his sous chef. Like, what the fuck? This is the funniest shit ever. Like, it basically ends with him just going, yeah, my mom's probably not going to like us, but it's not that bad. But it's just, and you can see his wife is just mortified. Like, this is how you fucking act at work, you fucking monster.
You animal.
Yeah. Ramsay decided to take his advice, and there Ramsay met Jean-Claude Breton, who would later become his maitre d'hotel at restaurant Gordon Ramsay. After Ramsay worked at La Gavroche for a year, Albert Roux invited him to work with him at Hotel Diva, a ski resort in the French Alps, as his number two. From there, a 23-year-old Ramsay moved to Paris and worked for Guy Savoy and Joël Robuchon, both Michelin star chefs. Famously, Joël Robuchon was named Chef of the Century for the fucking 20th century.
That's a big old, that's a lot of time to cover.
Yeah. And he wasn't even alive that whole time. That's the craziest part. Also, if you ever get a chance to go to a Joel Robuchon anything, go, because it's fucking amazing. In MasterChef Series 3, Episode 18, Gordon Ramsay stated that Guy Savoy was his mentor. He continued his training in France for 3 years before giving in to the physical and mental stress of the kitchens and taking a year to work as a personal chef on the private yacht Edelweide, based in Bermuda.
Nice.
The role on the boat saw him travel to Sicily and Sardinia in Italy, and that's where he learned about Italian
This guy's
cuisine.
living quite a charmed life, in my opinion.
He is fucking... Dude, he's balls deep in everything at this point, by the way. And like, basically, people are just like, he's just fucking and just having a blast. Like, I mean, he's 20. This is like covering from him, like being like 22 to 25, pretty much 22 to 25, something like that. It's nuts. Yeah. So upon his return to London in 1993, Ramsay was offered the position of head chef under chef patron Pierre Kaufmann at the 3 Michelin-starred La Tante Claire in Chelsea. Shortly thereafter, Marco Pierre White re-entered his life, offering to set him up with a head chef position and a 10% share in the Rossmore, owned by White's business partners. The restaurant was renamed Aubergine and went on to win his first Michelin star 14 months later. In 1997, Aubergine won its second Michelin star. So this is where it gets weird. Despite the restaurant's success, a dispute with Ramsay's business owners, who wanted to turn Aubergine into a chain, and Ramsay's dream of running his own restaurant led to him leaving the partnership in July of 1998.
He was also fucking all their wives.
Yeah. Well, he was married by this point. He is described...
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, he seems to not have a problem with that, believe it or not.
Oh?
Yeah, he seems to be faithful. I don't know how real that is. He also doesn't seem to be a hard drinker or a really drug guy, which is...
Well, I mean, when you've got an alcoholic father that beats you.
Right. Well, that makes sense. He seems to be an ego-driven, success maniac. That, you know what I mean? Like, his drug is success, which...
he's addicted to being successful.
That's what happens to a lot of poor people.
Poor people?
Well, he grew up poor as shit. You know what I mean? Like, all the successful people I knew that are like crazy workaholics grew up poor. You know what I mean? Because they think they're all going to lose it all overnight, or, you know what I mean? Like, that's been my experience. So the thing is, the Boiling Point TV show starts the day after he leaves Aubergine. And then he gives himself, it's something crazy, like 3 months to open his new place. And they kind of yada through that. But it's nuts because he's getting interviewed with people and they're like, well, what do you think's going to happen to Aubergine? He's like, well, I'm starting my new place and whatever. And they're like, we're not talking about you. We'll get to you. What's going to happen to Aubergine? And he's like, I don't care. I don't work for them anymore. Like,
I'm moving along, sir.
But, so what happened was the business partners with Marco Pierre wanted to, after Aubergine got its second star, they're like, all right, now's the time to strike. It's a household name. Let's fucking really get like all the Aubergines out there. And he was like, I'm not about that life, homie. I want to be a cook. And it starts with him, and he's literally just sitting there, and they're like, well, you're a celebrity chef. Like, why didn't you want to go there? He's like, hold on. I don't want to be a celebrity chef. I'm not a celebrity chef. I haven't even been on TV until basically right now. Like, and he started naming guys, and he's like, those are celebrity chefs. I'm a cook. All I want to do is cook. I just want Michelin stars. I want to be successful. I want to feed people. And it's really weird because the interviewer, the lady's like, but these days in London, restaurants are just to be seen. And it's just part of like, modern trends. And he's like, that sucks. That's not what I want to do. Like, I want to feed people really good food. And, we have a detector that once someone comes in with silicone implants, it goes off and then they got to get kicked out. But first they got to come down and show him to the crew and shit. And then he goes, yeah, Scary Spice came in here the other day. And then he stopped because his publicist is in front of him going like, shut the fuck up. And he's like, yeah, okay, I'm not going to get in that. And the interviewer later is like, no, what were you saying? He's like, I'm not going to just kill that.
Nothing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So he's described his decision to set out on his own as, quote, the most important day of my entire cooking career, the most important decision of my life. In 1998, Ramsay opened his own restaurant in the Chelsea restaurant, Gordon Ramsay, in Chelsea, the restaurant Gordon Ramsay, with the help of his father-in-law, Chris Hutchinson, who we will get to in a bit, and his former colleagues at Aubergine. So when he quit Aubergine, his whole fucking staff quit with him.
Whoa.
Yeah, like people fucking love this guy, right? He's got this personality. He's also a goddamn tyrant. So the first night of the service, everything immediately starts going wrong. The exhaust fan in the kitchen dies. So there's nothing pulling the heat out. And at one point, the kitchen is 135 degrees Fahrenheit. Because if it was Celsius, it'd probably be like 17 or something like that. But like, but the chefs are all fucking dripping sweat all over the plates. And there's a guy who's there to like wipe the plates off and shit as they're like, and then he disappears. Gordon Ramsay's losing his shit. Like, where the fuck is that cunt at? And he comes back and he's like, you motherfucker, don't you fucking leave here ever again. Your job is to wipe these fucking plates in the past. I don't want to fucking see, like he's venting on everybody. There's a waiter who shows up and he's like, and it's that just detail oriented madness. He just happens to see that the guy is wearing a Band-Aid that's blue on his hand. And he's like, what the fuck? What the fuck is that? What the fuck is on your hand? And, he's like screaming at him. The guy's like, I got a, what do they call him? Plaster?
A boo-boo.
I got a plaster on my finger. And he's like, it's fucking blue. What the fuck? You're in a fucking suit. 3-piece suit costs $1,000 or whatever the fuck. And you're going to go out there in front of these people. You got this blue thing. Go get a fucking white one. He's losing his shit, right? Then it's 135 degrees. He's yelling at people. One guy shows up, his salad prep guy showed up like 2 hours before service and didn't prep enough salad. And he's like, I will fucking fire you. I don't give a fuck how many awards you get, motherfucker. Like, then he's like telling the guys like, go tell everybody the refrigerator died. We don't, the salad's wilted and we can't serve it. And he turns around. He's like, see what I had to fucking do? I got to lie to everybody, you motherfucker. Like, he's just killing everybody. It's nuts. He fired one dude that night, like, cause he was drinking a bottle of water. He was like a waiter and it was so hot. Cause then the air conditioning in the dining room dies. And the guy goes to get a drink and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? 2 tables saw you drinking water. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you do that?
How dare you require water to live?
Yeah, like they don't come here to watch you drink water, you fucking asshole. Like he's calling dudes fat because they can't fix the fucking electricity. I mean, it's brutal. Like,
what's that got to do with it?
I have no idea. He's just being an asshole. He's like, you've been down here for 2 hours trying to fix this electricity. Like, what is there, a bunch of eclairs stashed here, you fat fuck? Like, and these are people that work for him. They're not electricians. They're just like servers and shit that wanted to help. Like he's just being a cunt. It's so awful.
Sounds great.
Yeah, no, it's actually very like, I'm like, no chef in the fucking world would ever have let this fucking TV show go out. And he's like, you think I wasn't going to be like this because there's a fucking camera around you motherfuckers? Like, ooh, it's so brutal. And then instantly, like after service, him and his sous chef go back to his house and watch the video of him doing that to other people at his old restaurant. And he's just sitting there laughing like, well, okay. Yeah,
what are you going to do?
I mean, kind of. He's like, yeah, I knew it was coming. Because in the beginning, he's like, yeah, okay. So he the restaurant gained a third Michelin star in 2001, making Ramsay the first Scot to ever get 3 Michelin stars. In 2011, the Good Food Guide listed Gordon Ramsay's restaurant as the second best in the UK, only bettered by the Fat Duck in Bray, Berkshire, who is, as I'm sure you know, is run by Heston Blumenthal.
Yep. One of my favorites.
Heston Blumenthal has his own problems. I would love to do an episode on him. He was the guy who was like, I'm going to be a scientist. So after establishing his first restaurant, Ramsay's empire expanded rapidly. Next, he opened Petrus, then Amaryllis in Glasgow, which was then forced to close later. And later, Gordon Ramsay at Claridge's. He hired his friend and maitre d'hotel Jean-Philippe Susevic, who works at Petrus and also appears in all the U.S. versions of Hell's Kitchen, if you've ever seen that. He's the French guy. Restaurants at Dubai Creek and Connaught hotels followed. He branded his protege Angela Hartnett's name, got her a place. Also multiple other chefs. He got jobs, got them their own big places. A lot of them got fucking Michelin stars. He backed a lot of them for their own restaurants. He takes a piece of it, I'm sure. Ramsay's opened restaurants outside the UK, beginning with Dubai, then Tokyo. It goes on. London, New York, Zagat Guide, fucking, And the thing is, these are all super successful, despite mixed reviews from critics. In 2007, Ramsay opened his first restaurant in Ireland. Then that closed. He's got West Hollywood, London West Hollywood Hotel, Los Angeles, Canadian fucking things. He's got places in Montreal. And he's got places all over the place. And the crazy thing is going to his website and looking at all restaurants, they're all over the place, but it's really sporadic. And when you go to some of the websites, they're like, yeah, that place is closed. It's really weird. He's won a bunch of awards. He got a, Michelin stars. He's got a OBE, the Order of the British Empire, by Queen Elizabeth II, my homie, in 2006. He almost missed it because his plane was delayed, which is pretty funny. He's won the Cadies a bunch, which I'm assuming is some sort of catering thing.
Yeah, he missed his flight because he was fucking some guy's wife.
Yeah, probably. He's got a couple of Guinness World Records, which actually are really, really low bar Guinness.
I was going to say they can't be that good. It's probably juggled a knife for the longest.
It's fastest time to fillet a 10-pound fish.
Okay.
Achieving the record in 1 minute and 5 seconds.
I'm sure there's some guy in Indonesia that could beat him. He
got that in 2017. And then so that was in June of 17. On August of 17, he set the Guinness World Record for the longest pasta sheet rolled in 60 seconds, which measures 1.45 meters. I think that's 5 miles in American standard, whatever.
5 miles. Yeah,
1.45 meters, right? That's 5 miles. Something like that.
Sure is.
Yeah, sounds about right. In June 22, he was recognized by the International Hospitality Institute as one of the fucking biggest dicks in the world. Who knows? He got a thing from them.
Swinging dick.
All of Ramsay's business interests are held with.
He set another world record for fucking the most coworkers' wives.
Yeah. So his company, Gordon Ramsay Holdings Limited, was run in a partnership with his father-in-law, Chris Hutchinson. And it was incorporated in October of 1997. So where can we get in? So lots of money. He's making money. In October of 2010, the company Gordon Ramsay Holdings Limited announced that Chris Hutchinson had left his position as CEO. Remember, Chris Hutchinson is his father-in-law. Shortly after, Ramsay released a letter to the press describing how he had unraveled the quote-unquote manipulative Hutchinson's complex life after having him followed by a private detective.
Oh, shit.
His father-in-law's quote-unquote away days, wrote Ramsay, quote, were rarely what I thought they were, unquote. I don't know what that means. He was cheating on his wife, too.
He was fucking his coworker's wife.
Well, his father-in-law was. Company accounts show Hutchinson borrowed up to 1.5 million pounds from Gordon Ramsay Holdings. Though Hutchinson says he reported the borrowings to the company and had paid back the money. Hutchinson said he had been vaporized as the subject of a public hanging by Ramsay, whom he described as a friendless egotist. That sounds about right. In April 2017, Hutchinson pleaded guilty to the charge of conspiracy to hack into computers of Gordon Ramsay's Holding Limited.
And by hack into the computer, he means turn it on.
Well, this involves his sons.
Whoa.
This is his wife's family. His wife took Gordon Ramsay's side, and there was a giant split. Like, him and his wife, I think, have 4 kids or something like that. And she was like, what the fuck? And
they're probably not all from her.
She's a school teacher, by the way. And yeah, it was real messy, and he fessed up, and they stole a lot of money from him, and they were doing all kind of shady shit. It was really weird. Let me see. He's opening more restaurants at this point. He's just going fucking crazy. In October of 2013, the Gordon Ramsay at the London restaurant in New York lost its 2 Michelin stars owing to issues encountered by Michelin reviewers. The guide's director, Michael Ellis, stated that he was served, quote, some very erratic meals, end quote, and also experienced, quote, issues with consistency, quote. The loss followed the closure of another Ramsay's restaurants, Gordon Ramsay at Claridge, in June of 2013. I'm not going to go into all these opening and closings because I've edited out a lot of them, but there's still too many. So he's making like a lot of money, right? Like fucking tons of money. On 24th of March, 2020, Ramsay laid off more than 500 staff in the UK after a number of Ramsay's restaurants had to close temporarily under the coronavirus lockdown. Ramsay's, whose personal net income was estimated to be at $63 million in 2019, was criticized for the layoffs. Yeah, no shit, because that's fucked up. He's got his own wines. He's got sommeliers. Yeah. So television. He's got so many fucking shows. It's nuts. Like we announced most of them. I don't want to go into them. It's so crazy. Like he's got, I didn't realize how many fucking shows he had. It's nuts.
Well, which is your favorite?
What's that?
Which is your favorite?
My favorite Gordon Ramsay show?
Yeah.
Right now it's Boiling Point, like, cause it's real. Like it's, for reals reality TV before it became scripted reality TV.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm sure he's playing up the dickhead part a bit, but it's 1998. Like nobody knew what the fuck they were doing. Like he was just trying to get his name out there. I do like Kitchen Nightmares because I like seeing him help people, because I've seen a lot of them where he's cried with people. Like he's gotten into people's lives and shit. And I think that's nice. Like I think when he tries to help people, it's really nice. So I can't see Marco Pierre White doing that shit. That's what I'm saying. Marco Pierre White's just out in the country killing deer and shit and probably drinking their blood. Who knows? He's a fucking nut.
It's good for you.
No, it is. It's good for your skin. That's why he looks like he's an old catcher's mitt. Might just be the 18,000 cigarettes he smokes a day. He's guested on a bunch of shit. He's been on a bunch of fucking movies and stuff. It's nuts, man. Like, He's been on like cartoons. He's been in a lot of fucking movies. I mean, good for him. It's really so. Hold on, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 30. He's in over 60. Like he's probably close to 60 TV shows he's been in. And that's just like himself, right? Like then he's been in 4 movies. He's been in 3 video games. He's done a web series.
What video games?
Hell's Kitchen, the game, Gordon Ramsay Dash,
okay.
Gordon Ramsay Chef Blast, where he's blasting your wife, apparently.
Yeah.
In 2022, he did 2 episodes.
Get blasted by a chef.
In 2022, he did 2 episodes with Mr. Beast, where he wanted to.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you know.
That's not TV, though.
It's web series. He's written, Christ, 30 books.
Ghost written.
Quote unquote written. Yeah, quote unquote written. Yeah. I mean, he's definitely not writing those fucking things. But like it's just nuts. But he's been in like goofy shit. Like when I say he's been in like 60 things, Top Gear, right? Like of course he's been on Top Gear. Soccer Aid. He was in an episode of Extras. He was in The Simpsons. He was in something really weird that I was like, what the fuck? Oh, Mickey Mouse Mixed Up Adventures. Like his kids were probably, it's probably for his kids. The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, Big Hero 6, that kind of shit where,
that is a very weird mix.
But that's like the kind of shit that actors do. Like when they have kids and they want to, their kids don't give a fuck what they do. So it's like, well, if I'm in a kid's show, they'll give a shit, that kind of thing.
Like when the hardest rapper of all time, Ice Cube, makes Are We There Yet?
Yeah. And now he's hanging out with weird right-wing fucking weird dudes. Never mind.
Giving them driving tours of South Compton.
Yeah, pretty much. I forget who he was with yesterday. It was really weird. Let me see. Go back to where I was. So he's been sued like 8,000 times. Like the first people that sued him were when he left Aubergine. A to Z Restaurants sued him for $1 million, citing lost revenue. He settled out of court, but they didn't say how much he settled for. He's just he's been in a lot of stuff. His reputation's built upon his goal of culinary perfection, which is associated with winning 3 Michelin stars. His mentor, Marco Pierre White, noted that he is highly competitive. Since the airing of Boiling Point, which followed Ramsay's quest for earning the 3 Michelin stars, the chef has also become infamous for his fiery temper. He ejected food critics who, like one of them was with, Joan Collins.
Yeah.
He was with Joan Collins and kicked both of them out of the fucking restaurant. But he wasn't mad that the guy criticized him and not his food. And he was like, I don't care if he fucking criticized my food, but he insulted me, so fuck him. He's out. A 2005 interview reported that Ramsay retained 85 of his staff since 1993, which is actually pretty fucking crazy considering, how much turnover there is in restaurants.
Sure.
He's actually been really like good with raising women chefs and putting them in their own restaurants. Yeah. Oh, come on, don't do that.
Raising them up.
Claire Smith is awesome. Angela Hartnett's awesome. And Angela Hartnett was the first 3 Michelin star chef. She's awesome. She's got her own restaurant. He's criticized for his use of language, and now he's really getting it for, the not even just cussing at people, but the personal attacks on their physical appearances and shit.
Sure.
But he's again really nice with children because he's not a total monster, I guess. So that's good. He's in the past previously expressed a dislike for vegetarianism and veganism. In the first episode of the second series of Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares, he offered pizza to a vegetarian and said it was vegetarian. After he took a bite, Ramsay said it contained ham and laughed.
Just kidding.
Yeah, and asked if he wanted more. In 2003,
you fucking pussy.
Yeah, hey, tasted good. Don't you miss that, shithead? In 2003, when asked for his most recent lie, he said, quote, to a table of vegetarians who had artichoke soup, I told them it was made with vegetable stock when it was actually made with chicken stock.
Man.
And then laughed. In 2007, he joked, quote, my biggest nightmare would be if my kids ever came up to me and said, Dad, I'm a vegetarian. I would then sit them down on a fence and electrocute them. In 2016, when asked on Twitter whether he was allergic to anything, he said vegans, and then followed it up with, it's a joke. Not the vegans, it's the vegetarians. And it's funny because after a while, he's turned himself around on that. In 2006, on the second series of The F Word, Ramsay showed a softened stance on vegetarianism after learning about the intensive pig farming practices, including castration and tail docking, which for those of you who don't know, castration, you know what that is probably. If you're not, I'm not going to tell you. Tail docking is they just cut the pig's tails off because when they're in such close proximity to each other, they chew their own tails off of other pigs. So they just cut their tails off. While letting two young family piglets live in an intensive farm. On the program, Ramsay continued, quote, it's enough to make anyone turn fucking vegetarian, for God's sake. And I've always sort of knocked vegetarians and vegans for missing out on the most amazing flavor you can get from meat. But you can see why so many people change instantly. In 2019, he launched a vegan menu at his restaurant for Veganuary.
Fucking pussy.
Veganuary.
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 Am I right? I eat a lot of vegan food, by the way. And introduced more vegan items to his restaurants, such as a vegan roast. In 2022, on an episode of MasterChef, he said, I can finally admit that I love vegan food and love other vegetarian foods. He was before a lot of people were, Ramsay was highly critical of Food Network and Iron Chef America star Mario Batali. The New York Post reported in 2009 that Batali was banned from Ramsay, had banned Ramsay from his restaurants. This alleged feud goes back to when Batali was highly critical of Ramsay's cooking style for being dull and outdated. Batali has since stated that the feud was created by a couple of journalists and said that he'd love to hang out with Ramsay. I bet that ain't going to happen now, homie. Batali,
they could compare notes on, rogering.
Dude, he wasn't rogering anybody's. Like, I don't know where you're getting this from. He wasn't fucking anybody who was married. Did it say
Gordon
she was
Ramsay,
married?
Widely known.
No, he's not. Stop it.
Widely known slanderer.
This is slander. Stop it.
How else are you going to get people to listen to this podcast?
I'm not by not getting sued by fucking Gordon Ramsay. Jesus.
That he set the Guinness World Record for having sex with the most of his coworkers and business partners' wives.
Noted piece of shit Mario Batali.
No, Mario Batali wanted to beat the record. That's why I hated him.
So the one thing that pushes him now, which makes super sense, is because he's so competitive and has basically won restaurants. He felt like he was getting overweight because he was just eating all the time and on the road and doing his shows and shit.
Gordon Ramsay.
And he's seen, Mario Batali too. Mario Batali's fucking lost, Mario Batali looks like the roach guy from fucking Men in Black. Like, he looks like he's wearing a skin suit. He's lost so much weight.
Edgar suit.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. Yeah. You wearing an Edgar suit? Can I get some sugar and some
That's
water?
another thing I've noticed in a lot of those shows that he's been in is they will oftentimes make an excuse for him to be shirtless or in some cases nude.
Who? Gordon Ramsay?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank God you weren't talking about Mario Batali because
no.
So he said he had seen overweight and unfit chefs collapse or become able to move quickly around the kitchen. Mm-hmm. So he often competes in Ironman events, marathons, and triathlons because of course he does. He also eats very little per meal and prefers to graze throughout the day.
Okay.
Partially due to the habit he built up as a judge and a chef, and also because he has a busy schedule. He also has a black belt in karate because of course he does. I read a thing where he says, yeah, I just like to graze throughout the day. I don't really sit down and eat a whole meal. If I do that, I only do it after marathons or triathlons or my Ironman events, because that's the only way I will give myself that pleasure. And I was like, oh God, you live a sad life, Gordon
What
Ramsay.
is he, Catholic?
Yeah, exactly. Probably was.
That's probably why he's fucking so many other people's wives. Oh, damn.
Yeah, cycling through that ass. Ramsay said that during COVID, he really got into cycling, and that helped with his physical and mental health. So, as I said before...
Hold on. Stop the presses.
What?
He's suggesting that exercise helps physical and mental health?
Weird, right?
Woo!
He's a trailblazer.
Give that man a doctorate.
He married Tana Hutchinson, a Montessori-trained school teacher in 1996.
Is she smoking hot? I bet she is.
She's very attractive, but not what you... She's very... I'm not going to be gross and give her a grade, but she's attractive. She's not... She's not what you think she's not like a Playboy bunny.
But like English Montessori school teacher, I imagine she's very mousy and proper. She's a beautiful woman. Right.
But yes, a Montessori English school teacher. She seems like a normal person.
She waves a magic wand, and then all of the students and their desks float in the air, and they get in a magic school bus.
They divide their time between Los Angeles and London, and they have 5 children. 5 children. So yeah, the father-in-law, we talked about him. He was jailed for 6 months, by the way. Hutchinson was accused with his sons of accessing the company systems almost 2,000 times within 6 months.
Wow.
Actually, it wasn't even that. October to March. What's that? October, November, December, January.
5 months.
March, 5 months. He's got a bunch of houses. He's got a bunch of fucking cars. He's a big car collector. Big Ferrari man, apparently. He's done a ton of shit for charity. I'm not going to that. He almost died one time.
Because he got caught fucking some dude's wife.
Yeah, motherfucker.
And the guy busted him with a gun.
In 2008, Ramsay was in Iceland's Westman Islands filming a puffin hunting segment when he lost his footing and fell down a descent of 279 feet.
Jeebus.
Like down a cliff, landing in the icy water below. Oh. He was able to swim back up to the surface of the water by removing his heavy boots and waterproof clothing. His film crew, who rescued him by throwing him a rope, reported that he was submerged for at least 45 seconds. He later recalled, quote, "I thought I was a goner. I was panicking and my lungs were filling with water. When I got to the top and getting my boots off, I was dazed and my head was totally massive." Yeah, I guess so.
Totally massive.
Fucking 279 feet in the cold, icy water.
But why are they hunting puffins?
I don't know.
Why
he
would you do that?
It. Why would you? That's fucking.
You hunt puffins, you deserve to fall off a cliff.
It'd been great if the puffins would have all jumped in and fucking drowned him.
Hitting them with their adorable beaks.
In 2019, it was revealed that one of Ramsay's restaurants, Foxtrot Oscar in the London's Chelsea area, which is a fucking expensive area, by the way, used prepared food that was heated up and sold with markups of up to 586%.
Yikes.
It was also revealed that 3 of his gastropubs in London did the same thing.
Chef Mike, baby.
They all shut down like immediately. Reflecting on the controversy in 2010, Ramsay was unapologetic. Quote, "When I was working at the Gavarage all those years ago, the duck terrine wasn't made there. It was made outside, then brought into the restaurant, wrapped in plastic. This is standard procedure. What on earth was the fuss about?" Okay. He pissed off the whole city of Cornwall, which is really funny. Because in 2022, he said...
Because he was trying to fuck all their wives.
Yeah. He said, "Trust me, I absolutely love Cornwall. It's just the Cornish I can't stand." And then the leader of the political party and fucking came out and was like, meh, meh, meh. So yeah, he done a bunch of shit with the soccer teams and stuff. And, but there was people that was like, Ramsay was a trialist in a testimonial game. He trained with us for a few months, but then he got hurt. But then other people during tapes of the F word were saying, I remember him well. And the one thing that will never change about him is that he's a competitive so-and-so and wants to do and be all the best that he can be. What's funny is like, he still was like, if I could trade this all in to be a professional footballer, I would give it all up in a fucking second and go back there and just be a professional footballer. So he could fuck everybody's wives.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're going to end with this. I've got a bunch of his famous sayings, and I've whittled this down to maybe 20 from 100.
Okay, before we do this,
yes.
Gordon Ramsay's in your kitchen right now. What are you going to make him make you?
What am I going to have him make me?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I would honestly ask him how he makes his eggs.
Okay.
Like, I think I know how. I think I've seen it. He likes to do the cold pan thing where you start a cold pan with butter with the eggs in it, and then you slowly bring it up to heat while you're shirring the eggs and the butter together, and it forms an emulsion of the egg and the yolk and the butter. And then once it starts to get a little cooked, you stop the heat and then let the carryover heat take it. And you don't get clumps of eggs. You just get like sort of runny scrambled eggs. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And people swear by it. I've done it a couple times. I'm not a big fan, but I would like to see how he thinks it's good. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people would say like beef Wellington.
Yeah, it's complicated.
But that's like his signature thing. You can go to the Gordon Ramsay Steakhouse in Baltimore and get his Wellington.
Oh,
that's what he's known for.
I don't think he's flying in and making it for me.
No. But if I had my druthers, yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna go with a half-pound cheeseburger.
Oh, you're gonna go that route. His burgers are obnoxious. Like
I know.
I don't know when the whole
here. Look, it's butter.
But also, they're like
Yeah, they're 8 feet tall.
Yeah, they're like 10 inches tall, and it's like even Guy Fieri can't get that kind of shit in his mouth, even when he unhinges his jaw like a fucking snake and shit. I don't know. I don't see the attraction of those really, really tall burgers. It's kind of gross.
I'd
rather have him wider than taller.
I'd make me like a Korean beef stew or something, like something completely out of left field.
Oh, I wouldn't do that. Waste his talent. Like, I mean, there's shows where he does that. Like he goes
just like a pizza?
We'll get into his thoughts on pizza. We're about to, because he specific, because he worked in Italy. He thinks pizza's one thing. Like that's the other thing. He's very, Mario Batali wasn't off when he called him old fashioned. Like he doesn't really like a lot of newer foods. It doesn't seem.
Okay, sure.
But he's open to it, but he kind of pushes back a bit. But yeah, I mean,
no cronuts for me.
Shit, make me a hot dog, motherfucker, and see what you go.
Oh yeah, from scratch.
Okay, so here's some good insults and quotes. My gran could do better, and she's dead. Yeah,
okay,
not great. It's a good start though.
It's low tier. We're gonna put these in tiers. That's a D tier.
Okay. For what we are about to eat, may the Lord make us truly not vomit.
Best B tier.
That's a what?
I'd say B tier.
Okay. So okay.
C.
So this next format is going to be coming a lot. He has, this is his format of insult. This lamb is so undercooked.
How undercooked is it?
It's following Mary to school. Boom.
Boo.
Yeah. This pizza is so disgusting.
How disgusting is it?
If you take it to Italy, you'll get arrested. Boom.
Oh, no, that's E tier.
Yeah,
that's E tier.
After trying a Hawaiian pizza, he said, "This isn't pizza. This is a mistake. This is an Italian tragedy." That's pretty good. Why did the chicken cross the road?
I don't know.
Because you didn't fucking cook it. He yelled that at somebody. It's pretty funny. You put so much ginger in this, it's a Weasley. That's pretty good.
All right, that's S tier.
Yeah,
that's at least an A.
Yeah, that's good. He said one time, I wouldn't trust you running a bath alone a restaurant. This fish is so raw.
How raw is it?
He's still finding Nemo. You added so much salt and pepper to this dish. I can hear the dish singing "Push It."
No, he didn't come up with that.
You know he's got writers, right? Like, Jesus Christ. Quote, swearing is an industry language. For as long as we're alive, it's not going to change. You've got to be boisterous to get results. Maybe. That's just
an ism.
You've used so much oil in this dish, the fucking US wants to invade the fucking plate. And the hard elements.
Michael Moore wrote that one.
Yeah, pretty much. Quote, and I like this one. This is, again, goes back to a person who pays attention to small details. Lewd doors without a decent large hook are as infuriating as a lock that doesn't offer you full protection. I agree with that. When you go into a bathroom and there's not a hook on the door to put your jacket or purse. Yeah.
Loo doors.
Yeah. Loo door. Yeah. This crab is so undercooked I can hear it singing under the sea. Stupid. He talks about how anybody can open a restaurant. Most of the time it happens when everyone's pissed and someone says, "Hey, Tom, you should open a restaurant. This food's delicious."
Okay.
Like, but that's clearly what happens to a lot of restaurateurs.
That is true.
This is interesting what he does with his kids. He says, the kids don't sit with us in first class. They haven't worked anywhere near hard enough to afford that. At that age, at that size, you're telling me they need to sit in first class? No, they do not. We're really strict on that. That's fucked up. All right, you 2-year-old motherfucker, sit in the back.
Put them in steerage.
This one's stupid, but I kind of like it. This souffle is sunk so badly, James Cameron wants to make a film about it. It's dumb. Quote, eating out doesn't have to be a formula. Eating out is about having fun. I get really frustrated when it's badly done. This is actually my favorite quote of his. There's enough garlic in here to kill every vampire in Europe. I've never, ever met someone I believe in as little as you. That's fucked up.
The one with the bread on the head.
Yeah. Well, we've already talked about it.
No, we didn't.
What, when he put 2 pieces of bread on this girl's head and said,
"What are you?"
She said, "I'm an idiot sandwich." And then quote, we'll end with this one because we'll go out on a high note. Being assertive and somewhat really firm has to be backed up with being fair, which, okay, but don't be a dick. At the end of the day, God damn it, don't be a dick. You can get across to people without being a dick. Like, and
you know who said that?
Who?
Jesus Christ.
He did.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. It's Wheaton's Law. Don't be a dick. So there you go. Gordon Ramsay, episode 300. Boom.
Wow.
We did it. We did it, you guys.
It's such an honor to be here for this.
Man, fuck you.
Hey, you want to come on our podcast next week?
Yes, absolutely.
I have to record time. One before I go to Scotland.
Okay, yeah, I got time. Fuck it. Let's do it. All right. Well, thank you, Evan, for being on the podcast for all these episodes. Hopefully we'll see you in the future.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here on this couch. You know what I'm doing?
And thank you, everyone, for listening to 300 episodes of me talking into a mic. I really appreciate it. We've had our ups and downs. We've had our drunken nights and our not so drunken nights together. And I appreciate you sticking around. It's been 6-7 years. I think we're on year 7 right now. But I do appreciate it. This thing keeps me sane. And I am taking a month off, and I'm going to come back with some more ideas for episodes. I think on this time off, I'm at least going to try once a week to pop in and do like a Facebook Live, which I haven't done since before the pandemic.
For what?
And what's that?
What will you do?
Just what I used to do with the other ones. I'm just going to throw out a topic and then come on for like 30 minutes and then just bullshit with everybody on Facebook Live about the topic.
That's fun.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun pre-COVID when someone was here with me and then we could just talk in real time to people on Facebook.
Yeah, sure.
But once you got like
Zoom, you could do TikTok live.
No, thank you. I'm good.
Yeah, you could do the NPC thing.
I don't have a TikTok.
Yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum.
Yum, yum, yum. Thank you. Hot dog, love it. Yum, yum, yum. Yeah, no thanks. I'm good.
Except you'll do but you could do it by cooking. So somebody has to like throw, a hot dog at you and you have to make a hot dog.
Yeah.
Popcorn.
Pop.
Pizza. Beef Wellington.
Yeah. Oh no, hot soup. Burn baby. But yeah, I think I'm going to do that. That sounds fun. And I'm just going to take the month off and I'll see you all in September. So thank you for listening to the Rude Cooking School podcast. Join the Facebook group. I'm on Threads under my name and then under the Rude Cooking School podcast. I'm on Discord for some reason. I don't know what the fuck that's about. I'm leaving Twitter. That's going off in the next month.
Yeah.
And basically come to the Facebook page and have fun and just share memes and questions and recipes and pictures of your own food that you cook at home, because ultimately the whole reason I did this whole thing was to sort of try to help and teach people about food and cooking at home, not in restaurants, not fancy stuff, but it all intertwines. So for the next month, tell your friends and family about us. Let them listen to the 300 or 299 plus episodes that are backlogged. And rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps. Thank you. So until September, I'm John Hauser III. Don't yuck my yum.
And don't set the world record for fucking the most coworkers' wives.
Or do. I mean, if you're a piece of shit, go for it. I guess.
I mean,
that's probably not a bad.
What if everybody consents?
What's that?
What if everyone is consenting?
Well, if everyone's consenting, then do it. I mean, might as well. Wrap it up though, or wrap it in if you're a lady.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up or wrap it in.
What is this? Begin. The 90s? Come on.
Yeah, come on. Female condoms are still a thing. All right, guys. We'll see you later. Peace.